What are Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Friendster, Princer, SoundCloud, SoundClick, Twitter. Uh, yeah, at all points, look at my African American. Yo, I was just watching World Star, and the dude that was on there, who Donald Trump said that about, was like, he said he said that Donald Trump called him the greatest. He said, so how could he be upset about that? It's like in this guy's voice, man. Oh my God, oh my God. Oh man, it's I feel sorry for the dude, but you can tell that he's a white black dude. But if anybody said, "Look at my African American," to me, I'm telling you, man, you gonna get checked. You going don't. You could say, "Look at my homie, my dog, my friend, my buddy, my neighbor, my coworker." All that's good. All right, look at me, fine. I'm whatever that position or that title. But look at my African. Oh, man. Oh, 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 oh my God. Oh, look at my, look at my. See, he said, I don't know why people are offended. Why should people be offended? Because he said, look at my African American. He could have, if Donald Trump wanted to point out that you're an African American and that you're a friend of Donald Trump, he could have did it in a lot less racist way. He could have been like, look at my friend over there, this African American man. Boom, there it is. He identified you as an African American and his friend. Look at my friend, the African American man. I'm gonna take this to the inside. But he didn't do that now, did he? He said, look at my African American. Actually, I'm cool outside. He said, look at my African American. So we got we got to sit back and think about that. Look at my African American. Look at my. What if he just said, look at my nigga? Some people would have been all right with that. What's going on? How y'all doing?
Look, I'm tired, man.
Y'all look like y'all had a hard one.
Look, I was out there playing tennis with her. Well, not with her, but
Listen,
playing
Doc, you only be
while she was
hanging.
playing today.
What's happening, Skinny Minnie? You did good today?
Yep,
That's what I'm talking about. We gonna see on the TV one of these days.
absolutely.
You putting in that work, ain't you?
Yes.
Hey, man.
Yeah. She has a tournament this weekend.
All
The
right.
Ohio Valley District tournament, so.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm looking forward to seeing you on YouTube or something.
Absolutely.
Let's get it. Yeah, my neighbors. Anyway, so my African American, like, I mean, he would have, what if he just said my nigga? You know what I'm saying? Truthfully, some people would have been okay with that. They'd be like, oh my God, Donald Trump said my nigga. But other people who are less liberal would have been like, hell nah, we, only we can say my nigga. Like, a dude. I don't really like to use that word, but every now and then it just slips out. Like, I got in a fight last summer with a white dude who we was having an argument in a store, and because I was trying to go to work, and I had to take a group of people, and one of the people I had to take was his girlfriend, who's this little tiny thing, wasn't even 5 feet, and he was trying to beat her up. And I was like, dude, we trying to go to work. You're going to have to handle that when you get home. So, he caught himself getting into my face and said he was about that life, nigga. He's like, I'm about that life, nigga. I kind of looked around like, who are you talking to? I was like, say it again. And he tried to get away from me, but I ended up choking him out. I picked his whole body up off of the ground by his neck. I don't think he ever used the word nigga again in his life. Nonetheless, the point I'm trying to make here is the association that black people have with derogative statements is is depending upon who makes the statement and the way you direct the statement. So if I went up to another black dude and was like, my nigga, what's happening? Or when Denzel Washington said, my nigga, to Ethan Hawke, nobody took offense to that. Because we knew that Denzel Washington was in hood mode. The whole story was about him being a hood cop. You know what I'm saying? So it's different, even though he was talking to a white man, Ethan Hawke. When one black person and one black, my nigga, we it's socially acceptable. And this is the problem. This is the problem. There's a thin line when you're talking about socially acceptable. Like if I call somebody a redneck, it's a racial slur. If a redneck calls somebody else a redneck, or a white person calls somebody else a redneck, not so much. They know it's a racial slur, but they're like, you white. So, but if I do it, them's feuding words. You know what I'm saying? Somebody gonna come down with a baseball bat. What you call me? Type of thing. See, Donald Trump is the whitest man on the planet. he's, he's so white and so commonly known to be a racist person that he can't say anything about black people without us looking at him with scrutiny. Like, I think you saying something racist because he always says whatever he wants and he thinks there's no consequences. Look, there are whole countries trying to get away from Donald Trump because of what he does. He comes in and he destroys. He doesn't come in and build. Look at some of the videos about him in his buildings. There's a whole country, I think in Belgium or something like that, they don't want nothing to do with Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump says whatever he wants. He tries to do whatever he wants because he's an elitist. You know what I'm saying? Even when he had those black preachers up there and talk about, we prayed it was good. He didn't talk about policy, whether he's going to stop the police, nothing. When the whole issue, with David Duke, addressed Donald Trump, he said, I'm going to vote for him. Outspokenly, the leader of the Ku Klux freaking Klan, who are in the police force and hanging people like Sandra Bland, and then he act like he didn't know who this was. I know who this dude is. And I'm not no more important than that damn ant crawling on the ground when it comes to the political arena. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like, it depends on who makes the statement. So him making that statement, being that he's the most whitest man that ever lived, dude lives in New York, or the nicer part of New York City, and the building he lives in, where the part he lives in, is laced with gold. Like this, he thinks he's some type of king. When when I got into real estate, my father only gave me $1 million. What kind of, see, it doesn't register to him that poor people who hear that are automatically have some ambivalent feelings towards you because you're nonchalant about having $1 million. So like I said, he doesn't register what he says. He just says it. And this is the problem with him saying, that's my African American. This is a white man claiming ownership to an African American. Africa's Vespucci is the one who named Africa a country that was actually named Ham, the country of Ham, and or excuse me, the continent of Ham, not the country, because Africa is a continental landmass, not a country, with several countries in it. But it was so named or dubbed by America's fans, or a French dude named Africanus, and then America was named by America's Vespucci. Everybody knows that. It was another French dude who they pretty much conquered and raped and pillaged and all that. So that's who we're named after, but we are not African Americans. Those are two misnomers that have just carried over because it's normal to say that. So now we're classified as that, or Afro-American. So now we're classified by our hair. If you have an afro, this is who you are depicted, which is another other wrong statements. We're not, So you should label us by the country that we came from, but you don't know what country that we came from because you just brought us over here off the Ivory Coast, and we could have came from any country that is on the continent of Africa. which leaves us homeless, nameless, and originless, other than you came off the Ivory Coast. So, anyways, that's what I'm saying. So with today, people are like black people, especially black people. We were always aware, but now we are aware and outspoken and angry and tipping over cars. It is, I mean, it's like the arms start all over again. It's like, you what? You gonna take us where? Over the Pacific? I don't think so. We're kicking ass and taking names now because we tired of it. Call us who we are. Some people think they come from Egypt. That's fine, because Egyptians were tall, dark-skinned people. They were not white people. Other people think they came from Jerusalem. Jerusalem is actually in Asia, which would make us Asia if we're Jews. If you're a Hebrew Israelite, you don't claim Africa. As a matter of fact, you hate Africans because Africans sold Jews into slavery. Jews actually came from Jerusalem, which is in Asia, over the Red Sea, near the Caucasus Mountains, so on and so forth. But nonetheless, that's what I'm saying. Black people are aware now. We're aware of our identity, and we always were aware, but now we're outspoken and we're upset about it. And you just can't make statements like, there goes my African American. You can't. And Donald Trump has no filter. And this is why this is a big problem. And to somebody who is a so-called conscious, or somebody who is upset about the raping and pillaging, a constant hanging, 5 people hung last year by the police in jails, the constant killing, the constant, our children dying, men and women dying this year by the police because somebody so-called had a gun, even though it's never proven. And then the police, just, going on vacation off of killing us, is the same thing that's been happening. When they were feeding our children to alligators, when they were, and they're still doing it. They're still raping. And look at the police officer who just went to jail for rape. He got life sentences for raping black women. I mean, it's just still going on. And people are just upset about it. This is why somebody needs to tell Donald Trump, you need to chill on what you say. I mean, he doesn't care because he's like, I'm white and I'm going to win the presidency. But it just doesn't work like that, Donald. You need us. And that's just the truth. Because we'll be tipping over cars pretty soon if you keep it up. As far as the dude who was called my African American, look, man, I ain't got nothing. I ain't got no beef with you. If you're not upset about it, fine. Don't be upset about it. But we are.